Hey everyone, it's Chris Burns again from the Heart Center, a place of being, of love, and of full human development and potential. So, another video and another beautiful topic that I think will open and kind of bring a lot of light to many of us. I know it has for me. And this topic is stepping outside of your comfort zone and stepping into the new version of you and leaving the old stuff behind. This is not easy and it's very scary. For me, it showed up in leaving my title as a Christian, and with that came a whole slew of dramas, headaches, fears, pains, insecurities. Um, you know, the Heart Center is based on living from your heart and being true and really just being authentic and real and truly doing what serves you, what brings passion to your life. Whether that's writing, reading, or drawing, it doesn't matter. Um, excuse me, the reason I say that is because I couldn't have gotten to this point without leaving my old self behind. You know, in the Christian faith, they say that you are to die and to be born again. I see a lot of value in that, in the sense that I've died many times. This may sound weird or far out there, but trust me, I have not even scratched the surface of some of the videos and some of the things that we will be talking about in the Heart Center. And so, whenever I say die and be born again, that means simply to allow the old way of being, your old energy, your old mindset to be done with, to move into this new vibration of who it is you are to be. It doesn't mean to be, physically be born again, but to have a higher, more heightened awareness of your existence. And so old habits must go whenever you're born again. Old ways of thinking must go. People that we used to know, people that we used to love, people that used to love us, if they're not where you're at and you guys are not going in the same direction, then that has to go. And as hard as that sounds, this is true. This is a level of this path that a lot of people don't focus on because it's hard and it hurts. But in order to do something you've never done, you have to go get something you never had. And so you have to allow yourself the space to grow. And growth hurts. That's why it's called growing pains. I believe the caterpillar, whenever it goes into its cocoon, do you know what actually happens to it? It actually turns into this mushy, gushy, nasty, liquidy stuff. It completely destroys itself and disintegrates its full physical vessel. Yet, whenever it comes out of the cocoon, it somehow gathers itself back up together and then is able to manifest into what we know as a butterfly. Now, the really cool thing is that this caterpillar still has memories of what it was like. I mean, this butterfly still has memories of what it was like to be a caterpillar, which is pretty amazing. And so this is what I'm telling you, is that it's okay if you're going through a transition, if you're going through a transformation, to trust the change. Allow yourself to be broken and crumbled and mingled and confused and out of sorts for a while. In order for there to be order, there must first be chaos. And so this means, for myself, I believe I spoke about this, but I was raised Christian. I was raised going to church Sunday, Sunday night, Wednesday, and sometimes even Friday. And so the Christian faith was huge. I mean, I still pull beautiful lessons and beautiful things out from the Bible that have benefited me and will continue to benefit me. But where my heart and my intuition started to my spidey sense, I call it, started to tingle, was with the inconsistencies that I saw in many religions. I'm not just speaking on Christianity, and I'm only speaking on my personal experience. And again, if this offends you, you might want to ask yourself, why does this offend me? Someone who is secure in who they are, you can't really offend them, because they always look at it from the observer point of view, and always try to see the other person's perspective. And so if what I'm saying right now about religion and Christianity comes off as offensive, there may be something in it for you, there may not be. That's not going to stop me from spreading my message and continue, it's not going to stop me from continuing to be who I am. And so moving forward, I was really confused and really lost to why, I could go to church and the people could be talking some type of way and they seem to be really loving people, and then go out in the world and see the atrocities that I see. And a lot of things confused me as far as, God and the devil, and there was so much fear. I was so afraid to do anything. I was afraid to look at girls or watch certain TVs or say certain words. I was living in a vibration, and I was living in a vibration of fear and worry all the time. There was no true freedom. I always felt like I had to, who's watching? Where are they at? Am I okay? Can I do this? I can't do that. Oh no, I'm in trouble because I did this. And that is not a proper way to live. That's not how we were intended to live. We were intended to live in God's image. And I have my own thoughts about what God is. And that image of God isn't pertaining to the physical vessel, although that is a part of the image of God. It is pertaining to the energetic love that surrounds and that is intermingled and intertwined with all things. And that brings about a source of freedom, of true freedom. And to make a long story short, I was not finding freedom in religion. I was not finding freedom in many of the aspects of it. And so I did my research. I looked into different religions, different ways of life, talked to bunches of people, listened to thousands of videos and to thousands of documentaries. I really did my digging and really got to the core of what it is that this life is about. And I found some very precious things. But in order for me to fully experience those precious jewels that I found, I had to leave behind my Christian structured belief system. I had to take a step outside of that box and allow myself to then go from this point of view to this point of view. And if you can think of a baby actually being born, they're in the womb for 9 months, a little over 9 months actually, but they're in the womb for 9 months and they're in this little tiny space and they're all confined, and all I know is this space, and it's tight and it's warm and they have food and nothing can really harm them, unless a mother, God forbid, goes through some trauma, but they're in this space and it feels good and it's all that they have ever known. And then 9 months later, they're out and they're in this vast new world, this vast new opening that they never even knew existed before. And it takes them a while to adjust to it. Their eyes got to adjust, their skin's got to adjust, their hearing's got to adjust, the way they breathe. They need to be supported for years of their life, 18, sometimes longer than that, years, to fully step into this new way of being and this new way of existing. And that is what this path is all about. This spiritual path is about allowing yourself the freedom to step into a higher awareness and a more loving way of life and a deeper understanding, but knowing that requires sacrifice, meaning you're not going to be the same person. I'm not the same person I was 5 years ago by far. Physically, I may look the same, although I believe I've changed physically too. As your energy rises, the things around you start to change, even your physical body. But excuse me, you allow yourself to step into this new way of life, okay? And it's scary. It can be scary sometimes. But just like a baby's scared for the first few years of its life, it begins to know and understand and learn and grow. And so this path requires you to step outside your comfort zone and to be okay with that. To know that there is no judgment, that there is no box, that your life is your life, and your soul is here to do what your soul is here to do. And if that means your soul is here to stay in your religion and stay doing what you've always done, then that is completely fine, if that's what you want. But if there's something inside you, I call it a splinter in the mind. If there's something inside you that is curious, that is, maybe there is something else out there, maybe there's something more to life than what I've been told. Maybe if I just take a look at this, oh, but I can't because, I'll be in trouble. Like, you go right back into your box. But then you wake up again and you hear it calling you, and you hear it, and it's in your mind, and you see it, and you see glimpses and signs and number synchronicities, and things start to show themselves that never showed themselves before. So you perk up again and you say, maybe there's something more to this thing. And then your ego chimes in and says, no, the devil, or no, this, or no, that. So you go right back and, yes, he writes, I can't, nope, I need to stay true, and I need to follow this word, and I need to follow this belief because this is all I've ever known, and then you find yourself in that situation. But you can't ignore that aspect that is continuing to come up. And it'll show itself, it'll present itself, and it will call your name. There's a Bible verse that says something along the lines of, God knew your name even before you were even in the womb, I believe, or something along those lines. Meaning you have a place with God always, anyways, before you even physically existed. That's just how it works. And so by you following these written rules and guidelines that, in my opinion, were set up to keep us in a box and keep us bogged down and not expand our consciousness and our awareness and our divinity, there's, like I said, there's just so much more to it. But, a lot of these books that have been written, these sacred texts and everything, were written in a time that made sense to the people of that time. There's a really awesome musician I like to listen to. His name is Omoro Technique, and in one of his songs, he says something along the line, or it's an intro, and it says, if you follow the values and the belief systems of a deity that is assigned to you, you then become the spiritual prisoners of the person who assigned those rules and regulations to you. Meaning, the things that most people follow came from somewhere. And you actually do yourself a disservice by not following that inner calling to explore outside that box and go outside that comfort zone. You see, life doesn't begin until you step outside your comfort zone. If a baby stays in the womb too long, it doesn't survive. It actually dies. It doesn't survive. And so that's the same thing with us. If we stay inside our tight little box and our comfort zone, we die. Everything moves. Everything changes. The only constant is change. Nothing is stagnant. Nothing stands still. There is trillions, quadrillions of lights and energies and everything intertwining and mingling just so you can see me and hear me on this video right now. The pixels are moving. Everything moves. And so when you find yourself staying stagnant, your soul will call out to you. Things will happen to you that'll get you to try to move. And if you don't choose to move, then I just feel as though if you don't expand yourself, what are you really doing? Are you really exploring life? What are you really afraid of? What are you really afraid of? Why don't you want to move outside your comfort zone? What is it? What's there that you may be so afraid of? A lot of times, what's there is the fact that we may lose family and friends. Guess what? Yeah, that's true. You may lose family and friends when you step outside your comfort zone. And I agree, that is scary. It's happened to me, trust me. People may not look at you the same. People may not treat you the same. People may not hear you the same. But once you step outside, you will be supported by the divine, loving, creativity, life force some call God 100 and 1,000%. I know that's not a number, but bear with me. You will have the backing of everything that you represent. I will never leave you nor forsake you. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the here and the there, the up and the down. So what are you afraid of? Once you step outside of it, it's already waiting for you. You're supported. The angels sing and they say, yes, they have finally done it. We've been waiting for you. Free yourself. You are the Savior that you've been looking for. The Christ is a metaphor for your consciousness level. You see, Christ resides in me, resides in you, it resides in all of us. But until it is awakened, we cannot fully use it. It is not fully readily available to us because we push it away. This is why they say Jesus is the Savior. Jesus and Jesus the Christ are two different things. There was Jesus the man, then Jesus the Christ. The Christ was what happened when Jesus woke up, when his Kundalini raised, whenever he became aware of his connection to the divine source, some call God. Jesus, there's 18 books of the Bible, I believe, that are missing. Of Jesus' life, I should say, that are missing. And where is he during these times? From the research that I've done, he was over in Tibet, he was over in Egypt, he was over getting himself educated, learning, growing spiritually, meditating, doing yoga probably. Maybe he was out just chilling at a beach. I wasn't there. Actually, I could have been there. But I think it was more in Atlantis. That was more my era. Anyways, getting back to it. We're not taught everything. We're not given all the answers. We're given about this much of the information to live off of whenever there's this much that really and truly exists. But they only give us about this much so they can get, because that's about as much as they can control, really. You know what I mean? And that's how they keep us in this fear-based mentality, and they don't want us to step outside that comfort zone. But you are supported. You have always been supported. Love is going to support you. I'm going to support you. Me personally, Chris Burns from the Heart Center. We can work together. I will mentor you and coach you myself, and I will show you that this is for real. I've done it. I've stepped outside the box. There is no box. I I don't know why I'm even saying that. There is no box. That is just a phrase, an illusion to keep us further in the matrix and illusion. Give yourself the divine right to free yourself. I can't do it for you, but I would love to work with you. So, this has just been an offering to truly give yourself a moment to think about where you're at in your life. Do you have that inner calling to expand, to progress, to search for other answers, to see life deeper? And if you do, go with it. Go with it. There's a phrase that says, if you're going through hell, keep on going. One of my spiritual mentors taught me that sometimes you have to go through it to get to it. Sometimes there is no way around it. But there are people here to support you through this journey. I'm one of them, and I would love to work with you and to show you a more readily available, loving, and abundant way of life. And so I'm going to actually end this video, but my services are here. It's time. I'm going to make a video quickly about that, about what I'm offering, how I can be of service, and what instruments and sessions are going to look like, and we can talk about that. But I've really been called to offer myself to you, and to share my own experiences and my own inner wisdom to better you and better myself. And I'm going to stop being selfish. I'm going to share my mentoring and coaching services with you, and I would love to connect and talk and chat and really move forward. So I'm going to shut this video down so I can go ahead and share that information with you. Much love, much light, much dark. Do not be afraid to step outside your comfort zone. We will talk soon. This has been Chris Burns from the Heart Center. Namaste. Stay strong.